So for step 5, attaching the gear cover, well, this is going to be a pretty simple step because we're just attaching the gear cover. We've got 3 screws. There's our cover. And it's also showing that we need to bend the wires as opposed to leaving them just straight like that. So we're going to have to bend them back. And then there's our 3 screws. So I'll set this up and let's put that cover on. So let's put the cover on first, I think. So you can see this is essentially just going to sit over top of all of this. Line everything up where the holes are going to go. And you can see that we're going to have 1 screw here, which I'll start. And we've got 1 screw down here. And we've got 1 screw right up top and goes the other way. So we'll just screw this all down. And again, I'm going from one side to the other, just making sure that everything is fitting together properly. We don't want anything getting caught. We don't want anything getting stripped out. So that's 1, that's 2, and again from the other side, that's 3. So there is our gear cover in place. And if we do that last thing, it's basically just going push that one that way, push that one that way, and it's going to look like that. And I mean, we'll see how that looks when we actually try and place this in, but otherwise that's it. So step 5 is complete. We're going to move on to step 6 now and attach the motor to the chassis. So for step 6, attaching the motor mount, well, you can see here that we're going to grab our chassis. This is going to sit down here, and you've got 2 screws that come up from the bottom, which will ultimately go into the backside of that motor mount piece that we first worked on in step 2. And then there's this urethane sheet that they want you to attach to the backside of that gear cover. Now you can see that they're showing you what the size is. I've already cut it to the shape and size because that's how they show it in the diagram. So we just need to attach this to the backside of that gear cover. So there's really only 2 things. We've got to put that onto there and these screws onto here, and I'll do the sheet first. So I'll set this up and let's put this together. So first off, let's get this attached to the gear cover. Now you will notice on here there was a caution sticker that I didn't mention in step 5. You don't have to put it on. I tend to do it, so I actually put it on a moment ago. So that's done. And this one here, there is supposedly one there too. I don't mind putting them on, so I've put it onto that as well. You don't have to do it. But getting back to this, if we wanted to put this on, you can see on this side that you can see the curve of the I guess the indentation on this cover, and it's only just showing here. So we're going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to put it on approximately there. There we go. Now, I don't know whether it really matters how far it sits, you know, further that way or further that way. It may not matter. At this point in time, I don't even know what it actually is for. It's probably offering some sort of cushioning on one side, but depending, we're going to take this apart, right, to make it a front engine rear drive once we've got this mid-engine rear drive complete. But that's it for that part. So now we're going to go and attach this to the chassis. So as I mentioned, there are 2 screws, these MA3s, that are going to go into that motor mount. And you can see that if we put this here, you can see that those 2 holes, which are these 2 here, is how this is going to attach. So this ultimately is going to sit just like that on the chassis. So if we turn this around, I can see that the holes are mostly aligned. So we'll screw one of them in. And we'll grab the other screw. Screw that one in. And now I can screw it down a little bit more. Seems like it's sitting okay. So we'll screw these in all the way now. And I'm just going back and forth. And because they're tapping screws, you pretty much know you're at the end. You're not going to over tighten it. It's going into the hard plastic. So there we go. There is our motor and spur gear setup all attached to the chassis. So that means step 6 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 7, and we're going to work on attaching the RC deck.